What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we're going to be addressing a question that we get asked quite often, and that is, what do we do if we go out of town with our Turo fleet? Now, it probably doesn't come as much of a surprise given the fact how much HP and I work, but we really don't go out of town that much.
Not at all. I knew it was close, I didn't know it was that close.
Now, I am a creature of habit. I like routine. I like doing the same thing every day. And I guess I would say you probably would travel more if it wasn't for me.
Oh yeah, I'd be scaling the world, seeing sights, making new friends.
Whatever. But the Turo fleet definitely makes it a bit more complicated because of the fact, what do we do with the cars? How do we make sure that they're being managed? And how do we make sure that we don't have to completely deactivate the cars and thus potentially lose out on thousands of dollars? So that's what we want to cover today, because we are actually leaving for New York City here in a couple of hours.
And it feels amazing out in Texas. It's like usually 100, even by 11 o'clock. So this is really nice to be able to work on cars and not be sweating, because I kid you not, if I'm not wearing anything but white or black, you're gonna see nothing but sweat.
So the first step in the process is, of course, checking in those cars that need to be checked in before we go. This morning we had a ton of cars getting returned from previous rentals, so now we need to make sure that all of them are cleaned, prepped, and ready to go so that they can be rented out. Now, I would like to acknowledge the Maserati, which just got rented out for a 4-day trip, which is a pretty big deal.
It's a very big deal because she is starting to pick out her pie flavors.
If you don't know what that pie reference is, go check out the video that we will have linked down in the description below. We may also put a link up above as well. That is in regards to the competition that HP and I have on the performance of our Maserati.
Now, by checking in all of the cars right before we leave means that we have 24 hours where we don't have to worry about getting the cars prepped or checked in or anything like that. We don't have to take photos again for that 24-hour period. So they're just ready to go.
I wish that we had a better answer and the exact steps and the right steps that you should take if you're somebody who's wanting to travel while simultaneously managing their Turo fleet. But to be honest, I don't know if we've really perfected the process yet. If I'm being honest, we never really don't do anything because of the fact that we have our Turo fleet, but whenever we do go out of town, there's always a ton of logistics, there's a ton of planning that has to go into it because of the fact that we really don't like to delist our cars for any specific length of time. In fact, in our nearly 4 years of being on the Turo platform, we've only deactivated the cars for a vacation one time, and that was this past May whenever HP and I went to Hawaii.
Hi, Pops.
Bye bye, babies, I love you. With the Turo fleet, whenever we're on the road or out of town, we've really done one of two things. Number one is we've paid whoever is house sitting and dog sitting for us to also keep an eye on the cars. This has worked out really well because we live really close to where we store the cars, and because of that, it's the natural choice. But of course, if it's somebody like an older family member, then this route always doesn't really work out because of the fact that we don't know if somebody who isn't familiar with cars or isn't familiar with Turo would really have a great time also watching the Turo fleet on top of our house, on top of our dogs. So the second option that we've gone with, and this is probably the preferable method, is we've had my dad watch the Turo fleet. And that only works out if he's in town and he isn't traveling, which is great because he can watch the cars for free and he also knows the Turo platform. But really, you could do this with anybody, whether it be your spouse, your parent, your family member, whatever the case is. Really, anybody that has an understanding of what Turo is and how to check in cars can totally deal with the Turo fleet while you're gone.
The Turo app makes it really easy to do the work remotely. All we need is someone to go to the car, clean it, and take photos of it. And we can do the rest.
48 hours later.
Hi! Guys! What's up, puppies? Hurry! Hello! We're back. Actually, we've been back. This isn't even full of clothes. It's all a lie! Yeah! Alright, so we're back.
Well, we've been back. We actually got back from New York a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And we've been home now for maybe 4 days,
Yeah.
5 days. Now, the original plan of this video was to show the entire process of how we managed our Turo fleet while we were going out of town. And the original thought was to film a little bit while we were actually out of town and then a little bit whenever we got back in town. But unfortunately, we didn't have any time in New York. And then whenever we got home, we had a very abrupt family emergency. So filming got put on the back burner.
Now, to continue where we left off, the key to being able to run your Turo fleet remotely is to make sure you have someone there to help you.
Now, I have heard of people that do end up just simply leaving their cars and then they just do the key exchanges through the app, they message the guests, and then when it comes to actually checking in the cars, taking photos, and cleaning the cars, they leave it up to the guests to do that and just kind of cross their fingers and hope for the best. But in our opinion, we think that that is playing with fire, and it's not a matter of if you get screwed, it is simply a matter of when.
You're definitely setting yourself up for failure. And I know there may be some repeat renters that might do a really good job cleaning the cars, but their standard of clean may not be your standard of clean or the next person's standard of clean. And all around, you're just saving yourself from damages.
In addition to having somebody who can help you out and checking in your cars, taking the photos, making sure that they're clean, one other thing that you can do is you can really be strategic with how you set up your calendar. One thing that we like to do is we like to block off certain days in our calendar in the Turo app. That way, if there are back-to-back rentals, they're not going to be like 1 hour apart. Instead, they're like 3 to 5 hours apart, or potentially even a half day apart.
And the reason why we do that is to allow whoever is helping us enough time to get there, get the vehicle clean, and not be a 30-minute or only a 1 hour window to do that. Another thing you can do is strategically raise your minimum trip duration. That way, whoever's renting your vehicle will have to rent it out for longer, and you don't have to worry about that 1 or 2 day rental.
So for example, if you're going out on a 4-day trip, you could theoretically set your minimum trip duration to 4 days. That way, if somebody rents your car, they have to rent it for the entire time that you're gone. And then like HP said, you won't have to worry about checking in or out cars because they're there the entire time that you are on your trip. Ultimately, when it comes to running your Turo fleet remotely, it's 100% possible, and it's 100% possible to keep your Turo fleet functioning at an almost optimal level whenever you're out of town. But it without a doubt does require more planning, more logistics, and it's more than likely going to require some sort of help from a family friend, a neighbor, or somebody that they're paying in order to assist you. There really is no perfect way to go about doing it. You just have to figure out what works for you, what allows for you to still make money while you're gone, and what works best for your Turo fleet. Things are going to work differently with different hosts in different markets.
Guys, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next episode.